So the great DOS has unleashed a very disturbing video about Laura FM. So let me just state up front that DOA left some interesting comments, and I will deal with them in due time. I will try to respectfully reply because I thought they were interesting, good comments, and I will try to reply rationally. However, for those who don't know, DOA and Laura FM are in a romantic relationship, as far as I know. Maybe they broke up recently, but as far as I know, they're together, so he's going to be biased. This is not meant as an attack on Laura. It's just meant to clarify Lara or Laura or whoever is not exactly the angel savior people pretend she is. So DOS released a video where she confesses openly that she knew Danny Masterson and they hung out quite a lot. Danny apparently took her to his house. They drank together, even took drugs together. And there's two major issues. One, of course, is her moral hypocrisy, because with the Scientology, she likes to scream and shout about the pain and the crimes and the yada, 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 yada. But back in the day, she didn't care. She doesn't care, she doesn't care, she doesn't care. But now she pretends to care and likes to scream and yell, oh, the crimes of Danny. Yeah, she doesn't care. Okay, so there's that. But you could say, well, I don't really care about Laura. Again, I don't care about Danny. The issue is shutting down the church. If putting him in jail helps, okay, let's put him in jail. The fact that Laura is not exactly the moral educator or this saintly figure, it's like, yeah, whatever. We understand. It's propaganda. But there's a deeper point that of the ex-Scientology community, a lot of it, not all of it, misrepresenting itself as heroic. So now let's shift to Nora, and yes, the two are interlinked. We'll get to it, but let me just do a brief, I think, necessary condemnation. And again, listen, Nora's not intelligent. She has no idea what she's talking about. But she had this weird, brief section because this is who Laura was speaking to. So, Nora thought she would be clever and referenced the history of Iran. Yes, the history of Iran, and put out a very disturbing embracing of a dictatorship, which, she's wont to do. And again, some of what she said was factual, but really it's very distortive. So for those who do not know, Iran experienced decades ago a very controversial revolution against the Shah of Iran, a fascist dictator. And I've done a video on Nora's F tendencies, so go to that for the larger context. And a lot of people say, no, the Shah is not really a fascist. He is definitely a dictator, but he's more of an authoritarian. But anyway, but there's no doubt he victimized many people. Many people, men and women, suffered in torture chambers. And Nora just passed it over saying, guys, women were safe. They could walk on beaches. Oh, the Shah, he allowed women to take off clothing. And yes, he was. He was relatively more liberal on many things than some other rulers. That's true. He still tortured many innocent people. But anyway, Nora doesn't care. But I just want to get that out of the way because I'm not Iranian, but I do know a few Iranians, and I feel a little bit of a kinship with them. Their situation is very bleak. And I've heard their story through various people. Like, for instance, I met someone from India, and he noted that he actually came across some Iranian exiles. So, yeah, it's a very sad story and deserves better than Nora's stupid reconstruction. Anyway, let's get back to her mythologizing Laura. So, Nora was praising Laura as, you beautiful flower angel, you speak wisdom. Every time you open your mouth, the amazing flowers of beautiful truth. It's like, And this is the real question that people have to confront, that the ex-Scientology community, most of it, clearly has its own set of rules. It's a very cocoon society. I mean, the only, unfortunately, that's the comparison, is the mafia. This is very mafia society. If you're a part of them, you're a part of them. You get special treatment. If you're not part of them, they're always going to look at you like an alien. You're not really one of them. You're always going to be looked at as inferior. You're not quite correct. You're not normal to them. So that's how it is. And they may invite you, and you may be an idiot and a chump, but they just look at you like, what you are. You're just a customer to them. You're just someone there to fool, to control, to manipulate. They don't respect you. They don't like you, and they won't protect you. So you just have to grow up that most of the ex-Scientology community, is a waste of time. It's nice to think that if you reach out or touch them or become friends, or you march with them, somehow you're in together. They're not. Some of them are serious about stopping the cult. Most of them don't care. Don't care. So it's not really groundbreaking to be told, oh, LaraFM was friends with Danny Masterson. Right. I knew that. I knew that already. If you did not know that, you know that now. Does that make her a horrible monster? Well, it definitely means don't trust her when she does her so-called activism. It's just there for herself. In fact, that's what she was screaming at one of the Scientologists, saying, what about my daddy? What about my family? They did this connection. Okay? So that's what you're there for? That you and your pain gets resolved? What about other victims? What about victims in Palestine? What about victims in Iran? No, they don't matter. They never mattered. So, yeah, that's all you're going to get is like, it's about their pain, my pain. What about the pain of innocent people elsewhere? That doesn't matter. It never did. So, again, the problem is this community is sick with mythologies, and they just keep turning these ex-Scientologies into these big heroic figures, and they're just not. That's just not who they are. They're just human beings. They have their own agenda. When their agenda is good, you support it, but their agenda mostly will be bad. So, yeah, Laura maybe did know what Danny did and didn't care, didn't stop, didn't help anybody. Uh, it's a very serious question how much she knew. And we got to be brutally honest. Maybe if she did know, she still wouldn't help those people. But now she's play acting like, oh, the children, oh, the women, oh, the Scientology victims, oh. Yeah, it's just a lot of play acting. Does that make her a horrible monster? That's up for you to decide. But don't believe this silly, like, Laura is going to save us all. Yes, finally we found the angel to save children and women's. And if you want to believe that with Nora, you're welcome to it. There's no reality behind that image, but it is something they will sell you. But again, it's not just selling images. You could get hurt. So you've been warned. So don't come running and crying to me if you hang out and do, quote, activist work, quotation marks, with these people, and they end up backstabbing you, and you get yourself victimized in a very horrible situation. It's just who they are. They can't help themselves. That said, don't be hyper paranoid. Some ex-Scientologists are good people. It's just very, very rare. The average person is there to make money, become famous, and become a celebrity. In fact, I found one section in particular that to me was very key. That you said, yeah, and this is Laura. It's like, yeah, it was amazing. I was around all these celebrities, right? That's it. That's all that ever matters. Is like being like well known, being a big person in that circle. That's what it's always going to be about. But again, hey, maybe Laura changed. Maybe it's a miracle. Maybe she's the one rare ex-Scientologist that actually cares about other people. Maybe, or it is what it is. She's a grifter. Not any worse than any other grifter, but not any better. So, I get it. Nora is in love with fascism and in love with Laura, and that's her right. I don't really love fascism, and I'm not obligated to love Laura. If she does good work, I'll support it, but I think she mostly does bad work, so I'm not supporting her. But hey, if you want to take your chances and join the ex-Scientology mafia, you do that, but just do that with eyes open. Don't have your eyes wide shut, because you may get hurt. And the hurt will not be just metaphoric or, oh, I gave them a text message, they didn't respond. It could get really bad for you. So just be careful and watch yourself and be safe, because Laura and Nora, at the end of the day, they will protect one another, but they're not going to protect you. So you've been warned.